Greetings, everyone. I kind of fooled you, didn't I? This is just a real quick how to make a bald cap. I realized that it was something I needed to do for another project, and I figured why not just film it while I'm doing it. For this, you're going to want, obviously, latex, more sponges, and, pardon me. This right here, honestly, it's a wig stand. Okay, you find them at some of your wig stores, that kind of thing. I find this works just fine, and frankly, I got it for free. But then again, I buy a lot of hair from those folks. I'm not going to promise you can get one for free. Either way, if you can't get something like this, Engineer Guy does have what they call bald cap armatures. It's just a kind of a round head shaped kind of thing. It doesn't even have a face on it. It's just round like this. Now, I know you would look at this and kind of think to yourself, wow, that's a lot smaller than a human head. It's certainly a lot smaller than mine. But the point is by the time you stretch it on, it works fantastic. Now, why does it look the way that it does? Well, it's got a lot of powder left on it from previous bald caps made. The reason why it looks so dark in the back is because, frankly, I've already stippled one layer on. I thought about it after I already had this on. I was like, hey, why not show that? They can maybe use that information as well. Now, just a real quick, before I really even get to stippling it, as far as a bald cap is concerned, I would recommend, honestly, going at least 4 to 6 coats on a bald cap. You can go as minimal as 3. If I'm doing a makeup, I'll only go 3. But if I'm on a mask, I try to make it a little more durable. So I'll go an additional coat up to 6 coats, just because that way I know the mask is durable. Otherwise, I guess the other thing that I would suggest is if you're going to be doing a zombie mask or a zombie makeup, and you're going to be making your own bald cap, I would highly recommend, let's say you're doing a zombie makeup. Let's just stick with that. I would recommend what you would want to do is do at least 2 coats. Then you would want to, you can take something, this is my screwdriver I use on my airbrush when I go to clean it. You can take something like this. It doesn't have to be that sharp, but it needs to be sharp enough it can catch the latex. But do at least 2 coats. Pick through the latex. Pick little places in it that they'll come out kind of round, but you can pick places in it to where they kind of look like blisters. And I know you're like, wow. Bottom line is, once you've done that, and don't do it all over the thing, but in places, if you're doing a zombie, for example, and then at that point, go ahead and stipple a few more layers on top of that after you've picked through. By doing that, when you pull the bald cap off, you've already got little spots of rot already on it. It's pre-made right into the bald cap, so that's a neat trick right there that I've used. Otherwise, this particular bald cap that I'm making is not needed for that, so I'm just going to stipple a layer on and let it dry. And of course, let it dry completely between each layer. Again, if I was doing a makeup, I'd probably just do 2 to 3 layers. But because this is a mask, I'm going to do 4 to 6. I'm not going to show you all of that, but I figured this was just as easy to show you how to make a bald cap. It's just that easy. Get something like this, sponge, little latex. This is what they call casting latex that you've seen me sponging on making masks and stuff. For a makeup, I'd probably want to use what they call balloon latex, or add a little ammonia to this to thin it down where it's more like water, because you're going to get a lot more consistent, smooth bald cap for a makeup. For a mask, it's okay with this sponge because, as I told you in a previous video, it adds a little texture which blends right into the rest of the mask because you're stippling the whole thing. So it has its advantages and disadvantages at times. Wow, didn't mean to move that off screen. Again, I'm just grabbing a little latex. I like to start sort of near the front. Now you're going to want to use the sharp edge of your sponge right up to that line, and you want to figure out where you want your line to be, and don't go past that, because that will be the front edge of your bald cap, and you need to be consistent with your lines as you stipple this on. As you go down around the edge, down the sides here, in the back and everything else. You want to be consistent where you're stippling. Don't overlap previous coats out onto the armature, so to speak, because when you do that, it just creates a really crazy line that you're going to have to deal with later. If you've watched any of where I make masks using the bald caps, you've heard me speak of making sure that your edges are nice. Well, here's your opportunity to make that edge, so definitely pay attention to that. Okay, I've gone all the way down this one line. Now I'm going to come across the back. Again, keep that edge crisp. And stick where you've previously stippled. Don't overlap, as I said. Honestly, making a bald cap, I find that the part that I'm working on right now, across the back of the neck, is one of the hardest places to stipple and get it just right. Kind of like when I was working on the mask, if something about the neck, it's a flat edge, it wants to leave little lines and things. It's you got to make sure you don't leave those. Okay, we've got a decent edge all the way around it, and now we can just go to town and stipple. This is not like making a mask, though. Definitely keep your layers as thin as you possibly can get them, which just means quite a bit of stipple action with your hand, because you'll see it thin out as you continue, and you want to try to keep it like a balloon thin. Oh, by the way, if I happen to use this type of sponge when I make a bald cap for a makeup, because it does leave a texture that might be semi-unnatural in an actual human head, I just turn them wrong side out, because the surface of this armature is smooth as it can possibly be. So if that be the case, then I just flip it backwards. This adds a little texture on the inside, which is fine. It helps hold the hair and that kind of thing in place. But then you have an absolutely smooth bald cap as opposed to a semi-textured one. But anyway, there you go. Just that simple. Stipple all the way around it, just like you see. Let it dry. 2 to 3 coats for a makeup, 4 to 6 for a mask. I hope that helps. Otherwise, go make stuff.